You go out there every day, you're on an athletic field in practice or a game, you are subject to injury.
And that's
potentially
the pushback,
catastrophic injury.
Mm-hmm.
But if you accept the deal to play sports, that's the deal. You know, at any play, you can get hurt and never play again.
Yeah.
If you're not cut out for that, don't just sit out the bowl. Sit out the whole thing. Go sell financial aid products or insurance or whatever. Sell. I don't care. Like, it is the deal. Like,
and if you're pushing these guys to sit out this game, to sit out in the bowl game, why not sit out this game coming up this week?
Yeah.
What's the point of playing that?
Yeah, but once you go down that road, there's no justifiable reason for playing any game that doesn't lead to a championship.
Yeah. You know, they take a tough loss last week to Kansas. Kind of killed their hopes as far as Deion in Colorado, hopes of making it to the playoffs, which they were going to need a little help anyhow. But now it's, all but gone.
Yeah, that was a terrible loss.
It was a really bad loss.
They had really built a great momentum for the season, and you have a big game and just shit the bed.
Altogether, man. The defense, who was growing and getting better, just seemed to revert all to their old ways. And I'm sure Warren Sapp had a huge talk with that D-line, but that's too late. Okay. What he says, that wasn't tough. That was entertaining.
It was embarrassing.
Embarrassing.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That wasn't tough. That was embarrassing.
Yeah.
Definitely embarrassing. So now they're out of the playoff talk, but they became bowl eligible a couple of weeks ago. So what Deion is saying that we're definitely going to play Shedeur and Travis and all of our seniors in this bowl game, no matter what bowl game we end up in. We're going to finish the season. We're going to do this for the community, because Colorado has been a bad football. They haven't had any bowl game or any postseason football to play in years. So that's his goal. And there's a couple of examples or parallels. One being your Florida State team from last year. It's a different situation because of the wool didn't get pulled from under their eyes. They kind of the wool did get pulled under the Florida State's eyes. Colorado, they just didn't get it done. Okay, and so Florida State went out. They decided not to play in their bowl game, and that may have in your
may have contributed. I mean, looking back to where we are right now, my initial reaction watching the snub was fuck all these people in the committee.
Yeah.
What are their addresses and what do they care about? And then I would have, if I'm Mike Norvell, I bring everybody together in that room that they were in watching, and I say, we got fucked, but we're going to show up and play a bowl, and we're going to win that bowl, and we're going to go 14-0. And whatever, I don't care. We could give each other rings. We could put a banner up at the fucking
like
school.
UCF did.
Like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
You fucked us, but we're going to show you. And if they had done that, I don't think we're 1-10 now.
Yeah.
I really don't think we're 1-10 now. But again, they didn't do that. Guys set out to a meaningless game. The team got killed. 63-3 or whatever, and quite frankly, they've never recovered. So now, I'm all for playing. Like, it just is what it is, man. You go out there every day, you're on an athletic field in practice or a game, you are subject to injury.
And that's
potentially
the pushback,
catastrophic injury. Mm-hmm. But if you accept the deal to play sports, that's the deal. At any play, you can get hurt and never play again.
Yeah.
If you're not cut out for that, don't just sit out the bowl. Sit out the whole fucking thing. Go sell financial aid products or insurance or whatever. Sell cock. I don't care. Like, it is the deal. Like,
and if you're pushing these guys to sit out this game, to sit out in the bowl game, why not sit out this game coming up this week?
Yeah.
What's the point of playing that?
Yeah, but once you go down that road, there's no justifiable reason for playing any game that doesn't lead to a championship.
Yeah.
And if you are a get the bag guy, there's no justification for playing any game that you're not getting paid to play.
Exactly. Exactly.
You know,
And so I think I think it's total BS. Yes, there have been players to get hurt in bowl games. There's football, like Pink just said, guys get hurt in any game. That's a possibility. You know that. That's why you signed up. And especially in the world now of college football, where these guys are making money now. The bowl game is a part of the season. Why have bowl games? If you're gonna push your guys not to play in bowl games, fight to not have them at all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Go to the board or whatever you got to do to get rid of them all together. Because why play it?
And there's a valid argument. Like, bowl games that are not part of the playoff don't serve any purpose.
Yeah.
Now there is a coaching perspective that you get an extra 2-3 weeks of practice. You get to maybe, get some extra reps for your younger guys, especially so when, so many guys sit out these meaningless bowl games anyway. It's like, oh yeah, well, we'll get working on next year's team with getting these guys reps and whatever. But it ends up being a bad show for the game itself, for the university. I'm sure it's increasingly difficult to sell tickets to any of these bowl games that are not in a part of the championship, because again, why do I want to pay top dollar to watch my team's watered down roster fumble around with another team's watered down roster?
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't make sense. It basically becomes a glorified spring football game against another university.
Yeah, it definitely can be. But another example or situation I was going to liken this to is a team that is in a different camp, like the Florida Gators. Now they haven't said anything, but they became bowl eligible with the win last week. I'm pretty sure they're going to play all of their guys in that bowl game. And they should play all of their guys in that bowl game, and that to prepare for that next season, to keep the momentum, to keep that positive momentum going. You know what I mean? Don't you agree to that?
100%. Go back 2 years. Florida State was 9-3. They went to the Cheez-It Bowl here and played an Oklahoma team.
Jordan would have been a junior.
Yeah.
Or a sophomore.
And everybody of consequence played in that game that was healthy. They won a game that I attended.
Okay.
And then you go into and go 13-0 the next season.
Yeah.
Like that's what matters.
That's what this is about.
To just sit out and whatever. But I believe in playing. I think you absolutely need to do that regardless of, the game or whatever. But college football, big picture, needs to figure itself out, because in 2 weeks, you're going to have an explosion into the portal, because the regular season and championship games will be done, and tons of these kids on all these different teams are going to be going into the portal because they're not welcome back, or because they're trying to upgrade, for a multitude of reasons. And so then you have these bowls that are like 2 weeks after that, the non-championship bowls. So, I get it. Like, I'm transferring. I'm trying to get, my next school sorted out because I got a signing day coming up. And, now you're totally bare bones, because you got guys, not only leaving or sitting out because of draft eligibility, but they're doing it because now they're in the portal because they're either getting out of Dodge or trying to find a better opportunity.
And the expansion, the playoff expansion, and it almost seems like we're talking out of both sides of our mouth here, but I do 1,000% think these guys should play, but just talking about the bowl games in itself, with the expansion of the playoffs, that kind of lessened the importance of the bowl games, which nobody was interested in anyway. You know what I mean? Like,
for sure.
Because when you expand it, the playoffs, man, and it's like, if you don't make the playoffs, okay, are because those playoffs games, they won't be labeled as like the bowl game, right?
No, I don't think until the semifinal round do they become bowls.
My
understanding is the first 2 rounds are basically played at the higher seeds home field.
Okay.
So they're not even like the typical neutral site bowl location.
Yeah.
So they're a completely different animal as far as that goes.
Yeah. They do. It
but
does.
But
need
there's
to sort
just
itself out.
as a whole thing, the college football situation it's not sustainable. And it's not sustainable because it's just not managed. Like, you're trying to play a championship game into January 16th.
Yeah.
Now, think about that. For those two teams, the next semester of academics will have already started at damn near every school in the country. So those guys are going to, they're going to go into the portal in the middle of a semester,
Right.
after that game, if that's what they need to do. I mean, it's just madness, that you can it needs some direction. It needs some focus. Like, again, if we're going to go the professional sports model, like, you have free agency windows, you have draft days, you have all these different things of when people can be made available for selection or negotiation, and it's all after the last regular season or championship level game is played, so that all teams are kind of on an equal footing in that regard. And for the longevity and sustainability of the sport, they need to adopt some sort of model that's consistent with that.
Yeah.
But the other problem you have is these are still colleges, and you still have an academic calendar that you have to contend with in addition to, the sports calendar.
Exactly.